I guess if you put your faith in somebody long enough, they'll embarrass you, especially if it's a man named Nelly. What am I talking about? Y'all, Nelly just in an interview. I hope Ashanti's okay. You are literally in the threshold of motherhood. I think the baby is still under one. Nelly's doing video interviews, and instead of talking about how happy he is, how this, how that, he's literally talking about how the only reason he married you is because you were pregnant and he didn't want you to be a baby's mom. Now, hold up. I'm of two thoughts, and I'm gonna give you both opinions. One, Nelly, why are you doing this? Did Ashanti say anything when you was out there shaking your tail feather at the new president inauguration? Did Ashanti say anything that could embarrass you when you were being led out in handcuffs? Was Ashanti saying anything that could embarrass you about any of the weird stuff in your past? No. So even if it was the truth, why would you say that in an interview? Was you on something? Did they give him some drinks? What happened? Now listen, let's get into that interview. And before we do, let me just say this because I'm of the second mind. Quiet as this cat. Half of y'all in here, maybe even me, y'all parents wouldn't be married. Well, no, I'm not the oldest. So y'all parents wouldn't be married if they didn't get pregnant. Half of y'all in here was not planned for. Quiet as this cat, maybe 3/4 weren't even wanted. The whole point of the matter is when you actually get into the story of couples, it's most of them are not really romantic. Most of it is like, oh well, she got pregnant, he was going to move away for a job, we just decided to stick it out. Half the time it is a baby that makes people, if not get married, but decide to like give it a go. So I know this happens in real life, but Nelly is a stage performer and he should actually know, and we're not looking for real life. You should be telling something that is romantic, something your child can read and be proud of, and something that Ashanti, who waited for you and stood by your side, can actually be proud of instead of like, yeah, I did it because I want her to be another baby's mama. And there are enough baby moms to go around with Nelly. Now, before we get into Nelly's comments, I just want to refresh your memory for how Ashanti. Actually, let's get into Nelly's comments because I actually think those are super, super telling. Okay, it goes like this. And then we're going to get into Ashanti's comments because it's like a tale of two tales. They said Nelly, oh, this is directly from Us Weekly. Nelly opened up about why he and Ashanti got married for after dating on and off for 20 years. He said, if we're back like this must be what it's supposed to be. I mean, I guess, Nelly, you were always the wild card. Ashanti really didn't have that much BS on her end. Anyway, I said Nelly has two children, 31-year-old daughter Chanel and a 26-year-old son Cornell from a previous relationship with Shanetta Valentine. He also adopted his sister's kids, which was very nice. But what family's supposed to do? They said during his Bootleg Kev podcast interview, Nelly admitted he wasn't really considering marriage to Ashanti until he found out she was pregnant in late 2023. He said, we hadn't talked about it yet. We hadn't talked about any of that yet. I was like, yo, let's just knock this out because we're going to be doing so much and everything's going to be moving so fast. I didn't want her to be a baby mom. Nelly and Ashanti, if you don't remember, they dated in 2003. The pair got back together a decade after the split and were married only a few months later in December 2023. He said, I base any relationship on, does this person bring more good to your life than bad? He said he remembered the couple realizing soon after reconnecting that a lot of ish they were bitching about the first time just wasn't that important. He said we were way more happier than we thought. Okay. Anyway, y'all, now keep that in mind as we hear about how Nelly proposed to Ashanti. And before, I'm not going to lie, when I first heard this story, I was like, oh, how cute. So intimate. It's not about the glitz and glam. At the end of the day, Nelly asked her to marry her like this. And on top of this, got married in a secret ceremony, probably because he was trying to save some money. I don't know, but listen to this. She said when it comes to her engagement, she's telling the story about her engagement. This is Ashanti. When it comes to her engagement to Nelly and them expecting a child together, it seems no one is more shocked than Ashanti herself. She said, never in a million years did I think we would be here. 10 years ago, maybe yes, but after our breakup, I didn't even think we'd ever have a conversation again. I guess when you go through a breakup, for me personally, I kind of just shut that person out. It's kind of like, okay, that chapter's closed. You just move on now. There's nothing here. Okay, that's true. Anyway, get this. She said of those initial phone calls with her former ex, she said, I had to really like be real with myself. Like, do you have feelings for him again? Like, what's going on? Because they're out, you know what I mean? They were gone. I was pleasantly surprised that they were still there. They said, so how did Nelly ask one of the biggest questions of his life? She said, oh, it was just such a beautiful, intimate moment. We were not dressy. I said, it makes sense now that we know what Nelly was thinking. Watching TV in bed while wearing his t shirt and boxers, Ashanti was completely shocked. She said, I cried. I gave him the biggest hug and kiss ever. I FaceTimed everyone I know. I was overjoyed and shocked and surprised and happy, kind of like all in one. She went on to say that she wasn't dressed, she was in his boxers. It was just so unexpected. She said it was surprise and out of left field. I know it was. Nelly probably looked at the price of that ring and said, okay, let's just do it this way. She said, I FaceTime everyone I know. I was overjoyed and shocked and surprised and happy, kind of like all in one. Listen, she said, now listen to this. They said, with their little one on the way, Ashanti confirmed she'll give birth before they tie the knot. So she didn't even expect, she thought that she was going to get her dream wedding. Instead, Nelly really just didn't want her to be a baby's mom, which to be fair, I mean, maybe he was drunk when he said it. I get his point, but there was just no romance. Like you literally, or maybe he just wanted, but he didn't even say, yo, I want it better for her. I wanted to honor her. He was just like, yo, I just ain't want her to be a baby's mom. You know what I'm saying? Which makes me think, was he doing this to get back at his ex? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. These are questions that 100% need to be asked. Anyway, she said, as for what those festivities will entail, Ashanti says she has to have a beach, sunshine, and palm trees, as she says, I do to Nelly in a moment, decades in the making. She said the growth has been like superb, like on both ends. We're both at a place where, like before, sometimes we would argue and walk out, slam the door, and not talk for a few days. Now it's kind of like, all right, you good, give me a kiss goodbye and it's over. It's not like holding on and bickering and we find out what the resolution is. We apologize. It used to take me a little later to apologize. Um, yeah, what y'all think about that? Nelly said he just did it out of obligation. I wonder if he did it as an FU to his ex. But even outside of that, you guys, what does it mean that she had visions of a perfect wedding? She had visions of this. She even was like, yeah, I'm gonna give birth before we get married. And he literally rushed her to the justice of peace and didn't even give her the wedding that she wanted. Again, I hope Ashanti is in a good place because we want to believe the best in Nelly. We want to believe that he grew up. We want to ignore the reason why they broke up in the first place. And the reason why they broke up in the first place was some really heavy ish. So I just hope, listen, I hope they're happy. I hope he's respecting her, honoring her. I hope all his issues and proclivities are out of his system. And regardless, I just hope Ashanti's happy. And at the end of the day, again, half of our parents got married, not mine, but I'm joking, I don't know the story. Let me go call my parents and find out. But honestly, half the people out here got married because a kid was on the way, and half of the people like were not planned for to be here on this earth. It's just the way life is. But damn, Nelly, you can't give Ashanti any of the romance she wanted because she stood by you through all the things that you've done, questionable or not. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.